I think it is very. I am trying to give you a more simple example before to thinking that so complex.
Okay, but my question was not that. Is to place here challenging problems.
Yes, but that is so challenging.
Can I ask you a question? How many writers are in the world and how many readers are in the world? If you are looking for a killer application, you need to look for something that is really useful for many people. If you make a tool that is personalized for a writer, it is useful for one person.
Yes.
But if you do a tool which is able to understand the text and to answer questions about the text, it can be useful for millions of people.
You are right.
Then what is better?
But I think that the main question here is that your assumption is that you can work in such a way that the sentence that you are analyzing, the meaning of the overall structure, is by construction is coherent. So I think it's a quite specific situation because most of the sentences we use, if we analyze 10 sentences of any of you, there will be not coherent. Because human speaking, even writing, but speaking is not coherent at all. So from that point of view, the problem is completely different. I think the real computing with words should be used to solve that problem. As the first one is that speaking is not a coherent task. Is that if you are talking on quite a specific situation, if you are making a demonstration probably, but if you analyze any speech, hardly will be coherent, except in the case that it was completely pre-written and memorized.
I don't think so. I don't think so. When a person is writing a novel, he has to do it in the way.
Yeah, but that's like why
and he is developing the idea. And he is proceeding first chapter, second chapter, maybe he will write the fifth chapter and then the fourth, but he is proceeding in a way that for him is a more or less clear way. Each time he finishes a chapter, the chapter has, let me say, not a meaning, but it plays a role in the novel. And the chapter is in some environment, in some context. And there are a lot of purposes in that. And the writer gives you the chapter, and you are who will interpret the chapter. But this is not the problem. The problem is to tell the writer if the system, the full chapter is coherent or not. Because this is contextual truth. Is to know if this chapter, or this phrase, or this 10 pages, are correct in the sense that are mainly true. True where? True in the context of the novel. Not for the person who will be the reader of the novel. For me this is not important, because the reader will create his own novel. The literary text gives you a material to imagine a lot of different things. I remember as a child, I got an idea of I don't remember the name of a movie artist, and the first time I see him in the movie disappeared because my imagination was not corresponding to the real face of this person. And you, the reader, will create his own novel. I think this is absolutely uncontrollable. This is not controllable. The contextual truth of the text, I think, it should be controlled. And in my opinion, we have not enough armamentarium in fuzzy logic to represent that. Because if we are proceeding through a computer, the first thing we need is to represent the novel. Without representation, it's impossible. Impossible. There are no computers that can compute just with the novel. We need a representation. And I think this is possible to do. This is possible to do. And also to look at the limits of the current armamentarium of fuzzy logic. I don't know. Maybe I am wrong.
No, but what I mean is that the kind of problem you are putting on the table, in my view, is not something that is on the way of the computation with the information in natural language.
Yes.
It's not in the sense that the kind of real applications we will face with, because in those cases, most of the circumstances will be against the assumption you are taking to start your problem. As the coherence, for example. As the idea that the overall novel has a complete structure that in most discourses is not true, because the discourse usually is a sequence of broken parts that are jumping, that you are taking part of another conversation that was previously. So most of these questions are far from the point of view of the coherence and the overall structure that can be assumed in a novel.
No, I don't agree with you. If you read a novel, after
I will not write a novel.
No, after reading the novel,
I'm sorry.
You will tell me what you understood by the novel. Which one were the principal points of the novel? Which is of the players, the most important players of the novel?
And you will
what these people say
different
to
answers
you?
from different people.
Yeah, of course. But the writer has an idea, because if not, he cannot write in the novel. It's impossible.
And probably no one will obtain the same idea that the writer has in mind.
Of course. And
so that means that the system is strong.
And this is what this is what literature is beautiful, because it suggests to people a lot of different things.
So at the end, if we are building a construction where the channel allows you that the message received in the other side has nothing to do with the message you put in that side, I prefer not to compute with information in natural language using that channel. Yeah, that's the question.
For this channel is the text and the alpha. I don't worry about it. I think that it's not possible to control what the other people will imagine when reading a novel. It's impossible. But the writer has an idea of the novel, and he is developing this.
But I think in most cases the writer also developed the idea while writing. So he keep changing page by page, and then he come back and say, "Oh, I forget about this guy. I better introduce."
I writers of all the types.
All the time.
People who first to start writing, he has a good planning of the
And
novel.
then change everything.
And there are others that not. They are writing and they are developing the ideas. But no one likes to be inconsistent, except if he likes to be inconsistent.
Yeah, but inconsistency is also a matter of context of person.
Yeah.
And I think it's very hard, because even the writer have very hard time fighting with the editors, and the editors usually want the author to be coherent or follow some style or follow some rules, and they are fighting because, oh, you write that, but nobody understands that, and it's, to me, will be,
one of the usual words of the editors in the companies.